Excuse me. Hi, Bethy.
Hey, Terry.
How are you?
I'm good. Guess where I am?
Looks like you're walking along the lake.
Oh, I can't get rid of this silly. Whoops, hang on. I need to be able to get rid of the background blur.
Hey, Greg, Dan, Polly.
And it doesn't want to do that.
Hey, Beth.
Hey, Greg. Oh, that's really sad that it won't let it go. The blur won't go away.
It's not focusing behind you for some reason.
Yeah, well, normally that's because of I've got the blur on, but I've got the blur off.
Maybe you have to log out and log back in again.
No, it's done this twice already today.
Really?
So I guess you're just not going to get. I'm at the marina. It's literally socks on the dock tonight because I'm actually at the marina. And you just missed a tall ship.
Oh, really?
The Pride of Baltimore just came through the canal, and my silly husband said, "Hey, that looks like a pirate ship. Let's go chase it." So I just did a live chasing the pirate ship until we got close enough to see it was the Pride of Baltimore.
So is it going through the lock system right now?
It just left Port Colborne, so it's gone. It's back into Lake Erie now.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's heading towards Toronto, I would guess, eh?
No, it's headed toward Erie.
Oh, to Erie, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
I bet you that was a beautiful sight.
It was. I got some great pictures. You'll have to check them out on my feed. I got some great pictures, and I was of course silly in my live and said we were chasing a pirate. I think my one friend actually believed me.
Oh, really? It must be beautiful down by the lake tonight.
It is gorgeous. The lake is flat. This is Lake Erie we're on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's beautiful down here.
We'll there we go. So welcome everyone to our Monday night Team Vaccination training call with the amazing Beth Poulin, who's sitting dockside in Port Colborne right now on Lake Erie, which is a beautiful, beautiful spot. And we're grateful that she's taken the time to come on tonight. And Beth is a real trooper. Beth, is there anything you haven't tried, Beth? I mean, you're a ski captain.
Bungee jumping is fun. I'm not gonna try bungee jumping, I don't think.
Come on, you chicken. Come on. I'll do it with you. I do it with you, no problem.
Okay.
All right. Patty Grass is on this call. She might think about it.
Yeah, Patty might do that for sure.
We're gonna do team vaccination bungee jumping.
That sounds like an awesome team building experience for sure. Nice to see Angie Hall on here from the States as well. Angie, happy 4th of July to all our American friends.
Isn't Angie from Alberta? Correct me if I'm wrong. Angie, fill us in.
Yes, Angie is from out west. I'm sorry. Saskatchewan area. Sorry. What I was thinking is that I was thinking of Diane Dinkmeyer, who said that July 4th, I totally forgot that it was Independence Day today when we booked this call, but I thought, oh, what the heck, they can look at the recording, and you were scheduled, Beth, and it's just great to have you on here because you're a woman that has persevered. You've been in Vox for what, 4 years now, 5 years now, 5 years now.
Yep.
And I remember meeting you at the first event, and you've persevered. You, like all of us, you've continued to stay, as they say, holding on to the rope, so to speak. It reminds me of that commercial with the kids, don't let go of the rope and you won't get lost, so to speak. And you've done that. And so tonight we want to sort of hear about, between Lori and I as my business partner and co-host, we just want to talk a little bit with you, Beth, about sort of what you've done, to keep inspired yourself, to introduce the technology to those around you, and how you've stayed engaged and what you do to stay engaged that would certainly help other people on the team to maybe copy you, emulate you, do what you do, because all of us as associates, we all have our own techniques, we all have our own methods, and it's always nice to hear the methods of somebody else and to try and implement them into our game plan for sure. So Beth, tell us a little bit about how you started with Vox Life and how you came to know about Vox Life.
Well, one of my oldest friends from grade school, not that she's old, but that we're old together, posted on Facebook about these socks that helped with balance. And my grandmother was turning 100 and I needed a present. And this lady was a firecracker. She was delivering the mail. She was in a retirement home. She was living in an independent unit. She had won Volunteer of the Year at 99. But she was afraid of falling. She had macular degeneration. She was afraid of falling. And I thought, okay, I can't get her flowers. She didn't like flowers. There's only so much chocolate, right? So what about socks? Like, I was the weirdo who gave her socks, and I gave her the balance. We did the balance testing and I showed her what a difference it made. And she would wash them out every night and put them on every morning. And then Christmas came and I gave her another pair of socks that were Christmas ones. Well, she would only wear those at Christmas. And I said to her, I said, Grandma, I can get you more socks. No, I'm not going to live that long. I will wash them out every night. And at 102, she had a heart attack and somebody else had to take over doing her laundry. So she got more socks. We lost her a week before her 104th birthday.
Oh
And
wow.
Without her being afraid of falling, I wouldn't have the friends that I have. I wouldn't have changed the lives that I have. So what started out as a gift from me to her ended up spinning and being the gift that I then share. So she's always in the back of my mind, particularly when I'm dealing with seniors, because she was a feisty one. So she let you know. She also was the one who would take a toothbrush and those little grates on the stairs, those little metal caps that go on the stairs as you, in older houses, maybe not now. She would take a toothbrush and she would clean those. Like that's how finicky this woman was. So the fact that I got the right height, the right color on the first shot worked well. But and at the time I was living on a boat. So I thought, okay, let's see what we can do. I mean, I'll join the company, and if nothing else, then I will help my family that I know needs this. And they didn't necessarily agree with me, much to my frustration over and over again. And my mother still will not wear socks. She won't have anything to do with the tech. And I just bless her and hope that she's really, really need it someday and I mean, if she's unconscious, I'm just going to slap a patch on her and she's just not going to know. But then I would meet people at different marinas and I would see somebody and say, hey, do you know about this? People with Parkinson's living on a boat. That's scary.
Yes.
So it just started there and it grew, and it didn't grow fast. Like this was not a lightning thing. And like my friend Angela has said more than once, I've thought, why am I doing this? And then I remember why I'm doing this. And I remember that I don't have to change the world all at once. I can change the world one person at a time. And I can do it in a conversation that spontaneously erupts wherever I am.
Mm.
Now, am I chasing people down the street saying, hey, you're hobbling, I need to give you some?
Yeah, and you probably see people around the marinas that look like they're terrified about falling off the dock.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, they might,
walking from their
need
boat.
a life jacket too.
Yeah, exactly.
But
So,
yeah, and I mean, I named my business Socks on the Dock because when I first started, my home was a dock, was a boat at a dock.
mhm,
And you know, people look at me like, socks on the dock, and I said, yeah, like, who wears socks on a dock? Everybody's in flip-flops, nobody's got socks on, unless you know why it's to your benefit to wear socks on the dock.
mhm.
Terry, do you remember Ian Britton and that whole fishing tour, fishing charter experience that he had? Speaking of socks on a boat, and
Mhm.
you know, the wobbly clientele that he would have to come on his charter boat. So, I mean, I just find Vox Life an application for everybody. We know that now because of the impact it has on the brain and the brain maps we've seen. But everybody has a lane and everybody has a niche. And sometimes you color outside the lines. Like, I admire Beth for all the things that she's tried. And but you know, with you don't have to become somebody you're not to share Vox Life. You just
Right.
have to expand who you are.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and I think the the thing with Ian is that he was, people get on the boat. He's a charter captain. People get on the boat, they get sick, and it's not an enjoyable, it's not a pleasant event out there if you're fishing and you're, heaving over the side of the boat. So he started utilizing the socks to put people back in balance and to get them sort of their equilibrium back in
It's a
check,
huge difference.
and
Yeah.
so that people could enjoy their enjoy their day of fishing. And so that's sort of where it started with Ian as well. But you
I think
Beth,
there's a video that I did from the helm. My
yes,
boat that I lived on was a 50-foot boat. It's over there right now. It's out of the water, but yeah, I mean, that's one of the things I found was that seasickness was not as much of an issue. I mean, I combined that with driving the boat, because when you are focused, when captaining the boat, whatever you want, however you want to describe what you do at the wheel when you're in charge,
mhm.
that added focus makes a difference too. Now, I can't imagine Ian saying, here, just take over the wheel and find us some fish, right? But yeah, I mean, it made a huge difference for me. And that was one of the, because I didn't have any issues as far as I was concerned. I didn't have any pain. I didn't have balance issues that I could see, unless you were, on something that's going like this, right? And
Sure.
and that makes a difference until I broke my leg. And then when I broke my leg, the paramedics were funny that day. I was laying on a bench and the guy cut my shoelaces off. Didn't ask me if he could cut my shoelaces off, but he says, we're going to have to take this off. And he cuts the shoelaces and takes the shoe off. And then he looks at me and he says, can I cut this sock? And I looked, there was not even a heartbeat in the middle. And I said, hell no. Take it off gently. And he did. And my husband said to me later, we're waiting in the hospital, he says, you can't have broken your leg because you're not in enough pain. He's broken many bones.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, don't take my other sock off.
So that definitely probably helped with not only the pain management, but probably help with some swelling and
Absolutely.
So you were definitely 5 years ago, you wore the product, you saw the results yourself, and you decided to share it with other people. So sort of what was the first do you remember the first time you ever did a lateral and dynamic stability assessment on somebody, Beth?
Well, it would have been, the first one was with my daughter, because I was afraid to do it with grandma first.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, my one daughter fails the test. I mean, she passes the test or fails it. For some reason, it doesn't work with her. And I remember tipping her without the tuck. And I remember her afterwards saying to me, Mom, you're not going to throw grandma into the wall, right? And I'm like, of course not. Of course not. So then the next one would have been my grandmother.
Mhm.
And I can't remember how many other family members at that particular party. I mean,
Mhm.
grandma wasn't going to give up her socks. And I can't remember if I brought insoles. No, that's where I got my launch kit, because I was in Florida and my daughter brought it to the birthday party because it had come from Canada.
Okay.
So I had everything there. But just, it never gets old doing the test. Never gets old. The looks on people's faces are, I mean, and I'll tell them, I said, I live for that look on your face.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
why I do this, is for that look on your face.
Mhm. Mhm.
Listen, Beth, I can concur with that, because I think I shared with you earlier on a private call we had that my husband decided he was going to take a couple of pairs of insoles to seed to the construction guys that he works with, and he chose 3 in particular because he thought I need articulate guys I can get good feedback from. Well, the one guy, well, all of them said, we weren't ready. I mean, that was Terry's classic line too, the first time he was ever demoed. I'm not ready. So all these big burly construction guys, and it's only been the weekend that this one particular man is like over the moon. You would think that, Glenn had given these guys $1 million. So we do really give them quality of life.
Yep.
If we can get them to persist with the products and not become distracted. Like there goes a butterfly, it's really important that construction guys understand that it's a brain body connection. Well, it's important that everybody understand that, but we've talked about this before, you and I, where we say you've got to consider your audience and who you're dealing with. If you're, and
Absolutely.
I know Krista Taylor is big on this, like if you're with science geeks, like, talk about the science ad nauseum until they're done with it. But if you've just got a quick hit to quick hitting type opportunity, then you've got to be selective in what you share with them. So one guy's a golfer, and I shared some very short golf videos with him. But I will say this, the other couple of guys are in the gym. So like the patch and the science and their brain lighting up, that's for a little bit down the road,
Yeah.
And I find that you've done that very well, Beth. And I also have observed with your business that you have not become discouraged. You reached out to a person, months and months ago, who months and months later reached back out to you. And that's a very commendable thing. And also some of the traveling that you've done, some of the friendships that you've made out of your sharing the tech, like there's ways that we can go about doing the Vox Life business. And consistency is a word that keeps coming up. But relationship building is another one of those things. And relationship building, I've watched Beth do. In fact, I've built a relationship with Beth, and I'm glad to have done that because I admire you. Does everybody on this call know that she sailed her boat to Florida? Like,
Okay. Wasn't just me. And the first time it was me in only little short spurts where it was safe to let somebody who really didn't know what they were doing do it. But we learned a lot.
But you did it, like you.
Yeah.
and was it Danny who was with you, your hubby?
Yeah.
That was so brave. That was very brave. And not something I would have done, but you're brave about your business. You're brave about sharing the tech. You're in online groups. You're in Alignable. You won an award with Alignable. Like, people need to know that, you're not backward about coming forward, but you're not obnoxious with it either. Like, I don't think we win any charm contests if we just ram this stuff at people because it's so ahead of its time. But I think that what we do is we have a Vox consciousness, and we make sure that Vox is on the tip of our tongue if it seems appropriate to share it. Would you say that's fair?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Jeannie can attest to the fact that when I was in Chicago, Jeannie just kept saying, "You blow my mind." She's my new friend that I met in Chicago. She picked me up at the airport. And we were going to dinner. And I had to run up to the room to get something. And I got on the elevator. And there were two women in the elevator, one that had a walker and the other one was just with her. And we rode up to the elevator and they were getting off at the 6th floor. I was getting off at the 8th floor. And the first thing they said when they got in the elevator was, really? They had to give us the room the furthest from the elevator? And I said, really? That was me on the 8th floor. I'm the gimpy one. And I got to go to the room the furthest from the elevator. And so we're chit-chatting and they got off on the 6th floor and I got off on the 6th floor with them. And I said, okay, I know this is completely out of the blue. Said, but from one gimp to another, have you heard, like, can I show you this? And I did not follow Kevin Duguay's rules. I did not get their numbers. I did not get their information other than that they were on the 6th floor. And I voxed both of them right there and they were both blown away. And I told them that their homework, because as a former teacher, I always have to give somebody homework. So I said, your homework is to text me. My number's on my card. Here's my card. Text me and let me know how the next 48 hours go. And the one with the walker, as I'm going to get back on the elevator, I hear her say, here, take this. I'm going to try without the walker. And right? So then I go up to the 8th floor. I go down to my room. Then I have to run back in order to catch up and catch up with everybody. And then we got to dinner or lunch, I can't remember. And there was all of us at these tables. And then there was another group of people that were not connected to us. And I could see this one lady and she just kept looking over at us. And, and I mean, Jean had already challenged me because it looked like there was a coach or something. It was an older couple that were at the table across from us that weren't connected. And she's like, they're old. I dare you. Yeah, watch it. I didn't have an opening for that. I wasn't going to just walk up to them and say, hey, you're old.
Yeah.
So, but this other lady just kept looking. And so I went over to her and I said, I apologize if we're disturbing you or whatever. I said, we're just really excited. We're here for a conference. We're really excited about what we're learning and what we're doing. And then she said, I told her a little bit about what the patches do. And she said, well, my husband's having problems with, and he's sitting across the table. And I looked at her and I said, you think he'd do a test? He denied, he did not. However, I did leave her with my card.
Well,
we'll see what happens when they find them at the bottom of their purses.
Yes. And it's happened to you before with people that you have, connected with by way of being in groups. So yeah, maybe that's a good question. How do you go about finding people to connect with other than in the moment? Talk a little bit about Alignable and talk a little bit about some of the groups because you and I and Tippy have had conversations now. So yeah, that's
so Tippy and I connected on LinkedIn.
Okay.
So, and my social has been low in the last month because I've been moving and I haven't done much of anything. But Alignable and LinkedIn have been really good for me in terms of connecting with people that might have a vested interest.
Right.
I spoke with a woman named Debbie Allen from England the other day. She runs a charity for kids with cancer because she lost her son at 4 with cancer. And so the group provides things that she didn't get.
Right.
That her son didn't get, right? And this woman has energy for days, but she's also got allergies. And you know, the cancer sparked it. I can't remember whether I commented on one of her posts or whatever, but I try to, people that comment on mine and people that look really interesting, I will reach out to.
Mhm.
And sometimes they're interested in the product. Sometimes we get on a conversation and it has absolutely nothing to do with either one of our businesses, but it's relationship building.
Yes.
And there are now people that know of me, know of my energy, know of my story, know of what's happening, and can say, hey, check out with Beth. Or that,
Yes.
you know, this woman that I met with said, you need to talk to
Yes.
somebody else. And it works the same with Alignable. Alignable is a little bit different in that it's not, it's definitely business oriented. There are groups in there. There are, you know, there are health and wellness groups. There are golf. There's all kinds of different groups in there. And if you're not on Alignable, it is free. And it's a great way to,
It's a networking platform.
It's a
Yeah.
networking club. Exactly. And
Yes.
it's a great way to get to know people in your area or people in, you know, in health and wellness,
Yes.
in the kinds of things that you're interested in. And, you know, I will say to people, what can I do to help you? If
Yes.
you're not interested in my neurotechnology, what is it that you need? Who can I help you find?
Yes. That's a good way to, you know,
Who can I help you find? Right? Because
just be authentic with
yeah,
really
I mean,
really trying
I
to
can't
help.
do a website, but I know 3 or 4 website people. I can send you their names and we'll see who, you know, because again, some of those things with your business are very personal.
Yes.
And you have to
Yeah.
make a connection with the people that you're working with.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
And
true.
yeah, so
Well, I
I
think
love
with
it.
this technology for sure, building relationships is huge, right?
Absolutely.
Because the depth. I mean, I think it's fair to say that you're always prepared. Yeah, I mean, 90% of the time, maybe 99% of the time, you always have product ready. It's like, you know, it's like the Western guy, you know, the John Wayne. He's always got almost his hand on the gun, ready to pull it from the holster. And I used to say that about, you know, the insoles. I would have them like, you know, a pair of 6-shooters, you know, I'd lay them
Yeah.
down on the ground and say, get over here and dance for me. You know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
and lay those down. And you've done a very good job of that. But I think what's, you know, very evident in what you're saying here is the consistency and staying connected, you know, because we all have things going on in our life. We all have things that you know, take up our time. And some of us are doing it part-time and doing what we can, and got, you know, parents to take care of, kids to take care of, you name it. So what's evident to me is that, you know, you're staying engaged, however that is, whether it's getting on calls, whether it's, you know, having the technology. I mean, Nina Konich is on this call right now, and she signed somebody up just recently. It was really nice. I hadn't heard from Nina in a while, and all of a sudden, bam, she's got somebody joining us. And that just shows that, you know, there's always somebody out there that if we stay connected and stay around the campfire, you know, there's always somebody that will want to sing a verse with us, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's a key element with our technology, because if we don't have the guns or the bullets in the gun, we can never fire it. And our technology is like that gun. It's like those bullets. And we always see somebody and it's like, I know I've done it before. It's like, damn, the timing sucks. I don't have anything with me right now other than, you know, ripping off my own socks or ripping insoles out of my own shoes or whatever. And so
I've done that.
you know, yeah, and I'm sure that's been the case for some of the people on this call. But I think that it's very evident that we can all learn from you that to always be prepared, to always have, you know, that stash of tech somewhere, whether it's on a boat, whether it's in our car, whether it's on our bicycle, whatever, you know, whether it's in our back pocket or whether it's in holsters like 2 6-shooters, have some technology so that we can we can, you know, be able to share that. Has that been an important part of building your business with that?
Absolutely. It's a little bit challenging to have the insoles in your back pocket.
Yeah.
So the patches made a huge difference in that. And then I'd carry patches in my purse. I was somewhere the other day. Oh, I was walking the beach with my dog.
Mhm.
And I have a pouch that my phone sits in, and normally there's a patch or two. There wasn't, but the gentleman that I was speaking to was curious enough, and I, quick sent him a text with my electronic business card, which that's a really cool thing, is that I have this electronic business card. I can give them a link,
Sure.
and it goes to my sock video. So on that page it's kind of like a landing page, I guess. It's that my sock video is there. There's a few testimonials. All my contact information is there. My calendar is there, and it just works really well. So that's something to think about, because it gives them a little more than just the Vox site. And I like for people to know about me. Why is Beth doing this?
Mhm.
Right? It's because you can go to the Vox Life site, you can go to voxlife.com and get corporate. So why do I want to work with Beth Poulin?
Sure.
Yep. Yep.
Because she's a little bit crazy.
She's
We like
very,
you.
very, very caring, and she's very brave, and she went all the way to New York by herself to be on the Mel Robbins show. And that was most amazing. And we will see where that goes from here. But just the exercise of doing that, Beth, like I remember, being at home thinking, oh, now she's probably landing at LaGuardia. Oh my gosh. And then what?
Are you kidding? We took a bus.
Oh, good for
We
you.
took a bus overnight. It was
perfect.
Oh, yeah, it was.
Hey,
it
there's
was
dedication.
nutty.
I see Paul Austin on there, and he's fishing the bugger. I see him on his boat, and I can see his fishing rod in his hand. Now that's dedication, jumping on a call. That's keeping the business at
There he is. Look at that.
Speaking of being at the helm,
Right?
he's got his iPilot on. He's running a course there, and he's slamming walleye probably.
Well,
Hey,
Terry, you
ours
just probably
too.
got in time to be off the golf course. So take Vox with you. That's what we've been saying.
Absolutely.
Yep.
There's somebody that I share this technology with every day. That's my goal, to share it with somebody every day. And what I see, what's really, really neat is somebody like Nina here, who's on this call and has stayed, kept attached, wasn't always necessarily forefront and center in the camera, but all of a sudden keeping her membership up, looking at it, and then is able to share it with somebody. And this may have been somebody that followed and watched Nina for quite some time before she decided to join. Who knows? But the point is that you're on point if you stay attached. You can't pull the trigger. You can't share this if you don't stay connected. And it's not always about, as you said, Lori, ramming this tech down people's throat or whatever. It's seizing the opportunity to share it with somebody when you understand the need, right? And understanding the need, I think, is key. And if we don't know what the need is, sometimes we just have to ask. And
yes.
What can I help you with? And
I really like what Beth said, from one GIMP to another. I just thought that was a really good way to put it, because now you're connected on a level of struggle.
Yep.
And so now you've got somebody listening. And Darlene Reimer has a great approach when she's working a booth. And I worked a little bit with her this past spring. And her approach was to have her banners up, and people would walk by and they're reading, this much percentage, reduced pain, and this much, increased balance and all of that. And she looks at them and she gives them time to kind of compute. And then she says, go ahead, ask me a question. And I thought,
Yeah.
that's really good. Instead of the pat, have you heard of Vox Life?
Right.
And that works too. But you put people a little bit into a think mode if you get them wondering about what it is they want to know,
Yeah.
So we talked about possibly doing a bit of training on Women of Vox Life about, conversation starters and stuff. So a little plug for Women of Vox Life there. And and we can always, because we're a unified front, we can always bring something of what's uniquely ours to contribute to the table, which I absolutely love. And listening to other people and what they might be going through, and listening to our teammates and what's working for them, and keeping that culture up, keeping that campfire thing up. And there's some new names on this call tonight that I'm not familiar with, so we thank them on this holiday in the States for being here. And yeah, it's been a great call. Make note of what Tracy Lalonde had to say, because in the chat she gave you a shout out for suggesting one practical step, Beth, and having the patches in your purses. And we have an opportunity to buy patches with the deal that they've got going on. I think it's up tonight. Is it up to, no, or is it July 7th? Can you check that, Terry?
I think it's July 7th.
Yeah, July 7th.
So you had some great deals, but Beth, you're a wonderful, wonderful person. You're a great associate. You're a great ambassador for Vox Life, and you're fun. You've got a very positive attitude, and that's infectious. And I think we all need to keep that. We've been in it's been a tough time the last 2+ years, and as I always say, kudos to those that have hung on, because sometimes we always go looking for diamonds in other fields, and they're not always necessarily in the other fields. They sometimes are right underneath our nose, and we have to just continue to strive to find them. And I just believe that this technology, 10 years they say to build a brand, and we're 6 years in, and I hear many stories where people are beginning to recognize Vox Life, recognize the socks, point down at the ground and say, hey, look at that person's wearing our socks or whatever. And that happens. And that's thanks to all of you who have, never let go of the, kept that fingernail grip, if that's all it is, to stay engaged and to stay part of it. And let's face it, Vox corporately has done a great job at allowing us to stay qualified at a ridiculously low price. And we can use those products for ourselves as personal use, with the 2-pack patches. So we've got some, super advantages that corporate has done to allow us to grow our teams and to share this technology. And certainly you're a bright light, Beth, in that for sure, and staying engaged and keeping your team and keeping those that aren't on your team, just friends that you've made in Vox Life, like myself and my sister and others, to keep that positive attitude and to stay and telling your story and posting in the team page and keeping everybody's spirits up and so on. Because let's face it, it's not always easy. We sometimes think it's going to be cakewalk.
Yeah, and I have to tell Trish that Terry's going on and on about how connected I am, and really there have been times when my toe, and maybe only part of my toenail, has been in the water because there's other things going on. And the beauty is that there's always somebody that will tap me on the shoulder or send me a message and say, hey, haven't seen you much. What's going on? Yeah. And that is, besides the technology, which is absolutely incredible, but that is the best part of this business, is that I have made friends who care about my well-being, who care about what's happening in my business. Am I okay? What's going on? And that's the best part. It really is. And you go in waves. There are times when you're really super connected, and then there are times when life gets in the way. And the beauty of this business is that you can have those waves and still be part of the best company there is.
Absolutely. Well said. Very, very, very well said. And so I don't want to keep everybody, we want to keep these calls to 45 minutes max. Beth, It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you. I know you're in the middle of it. You're in the middle of a move and everything else. And so, on behalf of the field, behalf of Lori and I'd like to thank you for taking the time to share some of your thoughts, share some of your tidbits, some of your encouragement to all of us. We all can use it all the time. We all need that encouragement. We all need to share our stories. We all need to express ourselves, and what better venue to do it than on a call like this, where we can, put an associate in the spotlight and learn from them and hear from them. It's a great opportunity for all of us to be on here. But what I do want to do is remind everybody of July 16th in Toronto. If you haven't got your tickets, or you've been sitting on the fence, or you need a ride, or you need to carpool or whatever, get those tickets. Get your guests invited. It's going to be a great event. We've got lots of prizes for our guests, or for our associates. We're going to be drawing a bronze pack throughout the day for our associates, and every guest that you bring will get a free pair of Vox socks, and we'll demo people, and we get to see each other. We get to hug each other and get caught up and learn from each other and have a fun day. It's not a long day. It's only 10 till 4:30 at the latest. We're going to hear from Jay. We've got a doctor coming that's going to do a live blood cell analysis on the stage. So I encourage you, get as many guests as you can. These are great events. They're great tools to leverage, to share with people that are interested, that maybe haven't joined yet. Paul's got a fish on, and we can't watch him land his fish. And
Focus, Terry, focus.
I know what the thing is. You cross more walleyes' eyes with the tech on than you do without it on. So I'm sure he has the tech on right now. So there's the net. Did you bring a net? No, she's at home cooking soup. Anyway.
Oh, Terry.
So, anyways, there it is. Look at that cracker you got in there.
How come I can't see it?
Look at that. Show the crowd. Oh, a nice little walleye. Perfect.
Speaker. I was having trouble logging on, but I finally made it. But yeah, that's the first one. I haven't been.
Oh, it looked like you handled no problem. You looked like you were well in balance. You must have your socks on.
I got them all mosquito proof too.
Yeah, absolutely. Tuck those pants in. Oh, that's great. Well, once again, July 16th, get your tickets. Let's get this venue. Let's fill it up. Let's get our guests there. Let's have a great day on Saturday. And we'll look forward to hearing from our next associate in the spotlight. And I'd like to take this time to thank everybody for being on here. And especially Beth, thank you for taking the time to be our associate in the spotlight. Fantastic.
You're welcome. Happy 4th of July to everybody.
Yes, absolutely, for sure. So
can I just throw out there too, anybody who has suggestions for content for our weekly calls? I noticed that Patty Grass said the weekly calls help her stay engaged. And I've been thinking like a little bit of a Facebook update review, a little bit of back office train. I mean, throw stuff at us, guys, because we're, pulling ideas out of our heinies sometimes, and we don't know if.
And one thing I wanted to
feel free to interrupt me.
No, well, you just gave me a thought because we talked about it. Sorry, on my mind, there's been a number of people that have reached out and said they're not getting notifications, hearing about the calls or whatever on Facebook. And the issue is they don't have their notifications turned on in the group. They may have notifications turned on their phone or on their computer, but if you don't have notifications switched on within the group to all, then there's a great chance you'll miss notifications. So one tip, go into the group, hit the join button, hit manage notifications, and then click on all. So that was one tip I wanted to leave anybody. Sorry for interrupting, but I didn't want to lose it out of my mind again. So back to you.
That's okay. You're getting up there in years. That made him freeze. He's frozen.
No, I'm not. I'm just trying to compute what you just said.
Look at Paul Van Dieven. Paul Van Dieven, you are looking like a rock star. You've been going hard, hey?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I'm down 18 pounds, 4 inches around the waist. And since Chicago, May 23rd.
Wow.
Nice.
Well done. Well, it shows, my friend. Good for you. You must be
Thank you.
feeling great.
Yep.
And I bet you couldn't have done it as hard or well without your tech. So,
Gotta have the tech on always.
yeah. Yeah. Good job. Keep it up.
Cool.
Okay, so Paul, did you want to say something before we go?
No, all I would say is just, take the opportunity. I had a pool party, and not me, but the kids, and it ended up 16 people. So there was 15 girls, my nephew, the stud Matt. So he, anyways, they were swimming and all that, and I waited until they weren't soaking wet and all that jazz, and they sort of got dressed or whatever, and I knew I could all of a sudden say, hey to them, hey, you want to see some magic? And as soon as I said those words, they were like, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I brought out the patches. I patched all of them. They were in just absolute disbelief. And the great thing was, guess what? They like to talk. So they went home and they started telling their parents. And because my house is the hub for kids, all the parents come. Well, now the parents are saying, what is this you put on my kid? Because I made sure they went home and said, I didn't drug them. I didn't, whatever. Like, it's all good. Like mom right there, and she was just stunned, and then went to use it at hockey. And so, just not being afraid to just bring it up and then just do it leads to a million things. So that's what I do. I just try to every single day reach out to someone on Facebook that's having an issue, and they said they're having an issue. Guess what? They're asking for contact. They wouldn't say it if it wasn't something wrong. So just say, hey, I heard what you said, or I saw what you were saying about your hurting back or foot or whatever it is. I have something that might help, and then offer to some free patches or something. Like, it doesn't have to always be a purchase, because the sample leads to, oh, I'm in, or I want to purchase more, or blah, blah, blah. So that's all I would say is, and demo always is just, that's what built it. I think
it's smart, Paul, that you approach the kids, because the kids aren't quite as jaded as the grownups are, and so
well, I can say is interesting is that one girl, she actually is the QB. She pulled something, and her whole neck and everything was killing. So immediately my sister put the Chill It all over. We threw a patch on her. She wasn't playing. By the time she got to the game, she played and crushed and played with shoulder.
Nice.
I don't know, but my mind can only think, yeah, I think it helped her. It must have.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. And, we got to keep that in mind for what's coming up in the fall is kids going back into organized sports. And Terry, you're doing an event with Heather for those junior A hockey teams at the end of August. So now's the time to be thinking about setting up those meetings and, chatting to different people who might have those kinds of connections. And there's lots of stories. And if we talk to each other, we can find those stories so that they're fresh in our minds and ready to share.
Well, that's a great example, Paul, of, having patches ready to pull the trigger. I mean, when you have 15 or 16 kids there, it's not like you have to have the supply and ready to, pull the trigger and
well, and there's something super important about that is, don't let your mindset say, oh my gosh, that's X number of dollars per blah, blah, blah. As soon as you start thinking about that, you could put an advertisement in the newspaper and get 0 calls that cost you $500. It's $20, it's $30. I don't care what it is. You write it off. You purchase the product. You can write it off as advertising, because we don't have market budget, or so don't be worried about using the patches. It's the purpose of so that, wow somebody. So
get it on
awesome business.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure, 100%. Well, that's a great tip. I saw the post with all the kids with their patches on the arm. It was awesome. So
I couldn't get them all in it. I just wanted to be more effective than trying to get them all to cram together.
There must have been some parents mad at you because you ran away to the cottage to go fishing. So there must have been some parents mad at you.
Yeah.
Nice to have you back on Facebook too, Paul.
I think I'll hide up here for a couple of walleye.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, my boat's taken off without me, so
okay,
thanks
guys.
guys. It was awesome.